Diabetes.
Diabetes is a disease that affects the ability of our bodies to convert the foods we eat into energy.
Is diabetes hereditary?
In general, there are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 used to be called insulin-dependent diabetes, no longer called that. And type 2 used to be called non-insulin dependent. Non-insulin dependent has a tendency to be more genetic.
Does diabetes have a cure for such a serious disease?
Diabetes is an illness that can affect our body tremendously. From eye disease, heart, kidneys, problems with the legs, amputations, and many other ones.
What are some symptoms of diabetes a person can have?
The initial symptoms of diabetes could be excess fluid drinking, frequent urination, irritability, fatigue is extremely common, weight loss, and some patients. And sometimes we see patients that have difficulties healing from infection.
What is the difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes?
Type 1 diabetes, as I said before, used to be called insulin-dependent diabetes. These patients are usually less than 20 years old. Their pancreas, which is a gland by the stomach, at the tail of the pancreas, you have a specialized group of cells that make insulin. If you think for a second what insulin is, yes, it is a hormone, but it's like a key that goes to our cells and opens the door for the glucose that comes from the meals, the carbohydrates, to go inside and give us energy. And these patients, type 1 diabetes patients, they don't make insulin or they don't make enough. Therefore, they need insulin injections to survive. On the other hand, type 2 diabetes, which used to be called non-insulin dependent because initially you can treat them with diet alone, with pills and diet, or insulin. But these patients, because of the pathophysiology, they still make some insulin, but for some reason, when they release the insulin at the cellular level, there is a high resistance. Therefore, they need to make more and more, but they do not need insulin to survive. They can be out of control for a long time and get chronic symptoms like blindness, eye disease, but they can live a long time.
What are some medications a diabetic can take besides, as you said, insulin?
We have a group of medications that we use for diabetes. The first medications ever invented or created for the treatment of diabetes was back in 1954. They had a group of medication called sulfonylureas. What they did is they stimulated the pancreas to make more insulin. As the years went by, more medications were created. Now we have 5 to 7 group of different medications.
Does smoking affect a diabetic?
Being a diabetic affects our vascular system. We develop illnesses because of diabetes. When you combine diabetes with cigarette smoking, it's like a bomb. They do work together and people suffer from more cardiovascular illnesses.
How is dialysis associated with diabetes?
Dialysis is, as you know, is a machine that people come like 3 times a week. They get hooked to the machine or plugged to the machine, and they get dialyzed, they get cleaned up because the kidneys are no longer functioning. And this machine actually is cleaning up all the toxics behind, all right? One of the complications of diabetes is called diabetic nephropathy. The kidneys are affected by diabetes tremendously, and it's very common in us Hispanics. As the renal illness progresses, the kidney continue to deteriorate more and more to the point that we need dialysis. We call it end-renal disease, needing dialysis.
And that concludes the ending. Thank you, Dr.R.Saca.
My pleasure for coming. Anytime. Thank you.